Hey, so you might notice that the volume is better. And it's kind of cool because I thought I was going to have to wait weeks for Amazon. It's all backed up to get a microphone that I ordered. And I happened to mention it to my husband, and he's like, oh, I have one of those. And now suddenly it just fell in my lap. And stuff like that is so sort of like kismet and encouraging to me in having started this channel. And also, another thing that's encouraging is when predictions start to come out in the news. And I have noticed a couple yesterday, and I was just kind of excited and wanted to share. And like, not just because I'm like, oh, check me out, but it's just always that amazing feeling to realize that we're tapping into something. And I started feeling that when I started doing readings because I was watching other readers, and then realizing I was tapping into some of the same kind of messages, and then I started noticing some of it come out on the news, and I was like, it helped me to feel confident enough. So anyway, just for fun, I thought we would go over a couple of things that are now in the news, even though I say fun, but like a couple of these things that are terrible, like this first one. Dr. Fauci, it's being reported, has to get special security around him now because he's being attacked by conspiracy theories being spread, and that is like a target on him. And if you go to my Dr. Fauci, where you been, at 7:15, I start talking about this, and just to expand, because it's dark and interesting in a terrible way, but I did not I saw this as an idea. I see this as that there's a sort of that these conspiracy theories, they come out, and they're meant to have an impression of being these truthers and this like revolution, fighting the power, right? But it's like the opposite. These conspiracy theory ideas, and maybe others out there get this and see this and feel this, but it's like I see it coming. It's just an operation. It's a big think tank, right-wing operation to influence minds, and to also and I see in like a case like this, target certain people that they see as a threat, create an air of anxiety and sort of like power. Like, it's just like very creepy. And I see it more like funded by a lot of money. And you think, I remember feeling this with like an Alex Jones. I'm just like, and I would see him as one of 100 other things, but just sort of, it seemed like at the same time, all these things started being planted out there. I mean, you've got the bots, and you've got these like different, it started to be like, look at the real news, not the news. It started to be an attack on the media. It's like there's a directive, and I also see sort of like a lot of sort of culty kind of ways of pulling people in to make sure that they stop looking at the news and they just start listening to like one voice from the internet. And then you realize this weird that this one voice from the internet, sounds a lot like these other sort of right-wing voices out there, and even our own president and that sort of thing. It's like a creation of like a theater and anxiety and anger, but it doesn't come from these rebels behind their computer screens. It's like the idea's out there. Okay, here's the new thing, and then they put it out there to those who are sort of in place to start discussing it, and then it gets spread by the bots. And it's this whole dark thing that I, for a very long time, have just like been hoping and praying and waiting for this to be uncovered, because I think that the actual like people, I see this even in some of the new age stuff, where they make it seem more of a gentle thing, but it's always this gets back to a lot of the same points, and it's political, but it's also sort of ideological. It's like, it's almost just like a military operative, but not military of the people, more just this strict directives. And yeah, so I believe that it will be uncovered. Yeah, because people who fall into these traps, they need to know that this is not coming from, a sincerity or a rebelliousness that you think. It's coming from just this like upper crust, more of an upper crust operation being paid for by people with a ton of money, like billionaires or whatever. It might even be just like corporate. I don't know. But it's like there's the religious bent. I don't know. It's the right wing stuff. So anyway, so the Fauci thing. On 3:30, I read, which was a couple days ago, Trump delay as pandemic spread. Why? And I saw Jared just like covering Trump. And I remember being like, they're really taking a chance on this, but I think that's Jared. And now there's all these stories coming out. And I also saw him as, like sort of being around behind the, like, ignore, delay, and like, let's figure out how to profit. And all of these stories coming out now. And, suddenly it's just being recognized more like on Twitter and in like headlines of big papers. That's coming out. And I think I even saw today, they're like doubling down on it now and just announcing Jared as, he's the guy. He's our coronavirus guy because he has great ideas. Yeah, sure. It's crazy how sometimes when they get caught for something, they double down on it. That I feel like that like even comes from that think tank. They're like, here's how we deal with everything. Like they have an answer for everything. And it's like, do the opposite of what people expect you to do. And then it confuses them, and then you're in power and you're on top. So anyway, and stories about making money off of it. Anyway. Oh, and then the Dr. Birx database, which I called it in my reading, I saw it as a website that, records all the testing and the this and the that. And like, to be fair, I'm not sure, I can't like remember at the time how much I knew about Dr. Birx. I now realize she was also involved in like the AIDS databases. Like that was something that she created for that virus. And, but I remember feeling like, well, this is kind of a boring read because it's like, it's not like there's a cure or something. It was like, there's a database or a website. But I'm now realizing it's just like every time she comes out and I'm realizing how big, and I do see this as like, in the history books, like that what she was able to create, is what is helping us to, for instance, see the death toll prediction, which is interesting because if you see the death card is at the end there along with the database. I'm like, oh, so that's what it was sort of helping us to see. Anyway, so now it just seems kind of boring to even talk about a website, but it's sort of our North Star in this. And I definitely felt that in the read. So anyway, I just wanted to share those things because it's kind of exciting, and that's kind of why I started this. And I thought you might find it interesting too. So thanks for tuning in, and hope to see you at the next one. Bye.